I'm David.
And I'm Thackeray.
And welcome to This Old Saab.
I'm going to show you how to remove the rear window panels on the door of a 4-door classic Saab 900. You want to save them when you can, because chances are there's someone out there with one of these cars that needs this. So let me show you the trick, because you can easily break these windows if you try to go too fast and too hard removing them. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is pry up this outer trim piece. I'd actually already started doing that before I realized, you know what, maybe someone wants to see how this works. This is actually really easy to do. You would insert a screwdriver right under one of those edges at the corner here and pull out. And as you can see, there's a channel in the rubber that this ridge on the trim piece sits in. And so it pries out really easily. Now the trickier part is once that's free, getting the glass out. You want to pull it out from the car. Trust me, I've tried it both ways. Going in is very difficult. The glass is meant to come out. And the trick is to get something like one of these really light-duty pry bars. So you're going to want to insert it under the trim here, and you really don't want to scratch the glass. As much as you can, you want to avoid doing that. Let's see if you can see it. There. Yep, the seam of the glass is actually not very far behind this. And it's much easier to pry up from the outside and to push the glass outward. But it's glued to the inside part of the trim. So you want to first carefully, I've already loosened it up here. You would probably need 2 hands to do this. But you want to slide down and kind of separate, break the seal on the outer edge. Go slowly. I was doing that with one hand, and so I lost my my grip. But you work your way around. Then you want to go on the other side. On the inside, you want to work around that trim as well, and just take your time. Get the glue separated from the glass. And then when you come back out to the outside, if you pull this rubber seal back and push out with your hands, nothing sharp, nothing hard, you should be able to kind of start to separate the glass from the seal, and it will lift right out. So here I am on the other side of the glass, and I'm going to kind of work my way around it as well. The same process is what I was showing you from the outside. I want to break the seal carefully, and I would actually use one hand to kind of buffer the underside of this. You really don't want to be scraping and dragging along the glass. You're trying to separate the glue that's holding the glass against the inner part of this rubber seal. All right, I worked my way around to the inside. Now I'm back out at the outside, and it's pretty loose now. I just want to kind of show you with one hand. I can kind of push. You can see the glass is flexing the seal outward pretty freely now. So I'm ready to use both hands and start to work this thing out. Okay, you win some, you lose some. I really wanted to keep the rubber seal intact, but after a lot of fighting with it, it was just not going to stay forward enough for me to push the glass out and feel comfortable that I wasn't going to crack the glass. So what I wound up doing was first taking an X-Acto blade and dragging it through the channel that the outer trim would normally sit in and cutting down through the rubber. This is beyond where the glass sits under the seal, so it's a safe thing to do with respect to the glass. The only dangerous part here is cutting the slit so that you can start to pull it up. You don't want to just cut down towards the glass. If you do, you will at least scratch the glass, and that is how cracks in glass can grow, can form and grow. So what I actually did was I had pried this up, since I'd already loosened it from the glass. Yeah, there you go. I pried it up with my little mini crowbar, held it away from the glass, and carefully sawed through it. So again, please be careful. This is very precious glass. Somebody needs this, and so you know, think through how you're using the tools around the glass so you don't crack it and damage it for somebody. But now that it's up, let's see if we can focus. I can grab that probably with my hands, but maybe some pliers, and pull it, peel it away. Actually lift it a couple times again, lifted the edge like I did when I cut up at the corner here, and carefully cut towards that seam that the outer trim would sit in to help set it. But I haven't done that down here, but once you've kind of got a good grip on it, it will start to peel away, and you can sort of pry the glass out. There we go. You can see we've exposed the seam, and that's it. It popped out. Easy peasy. So once you've removed that last partial panel on the rear door, you can pull out the rest of this seal. But to get the main glass out, what we're going to have to do is remove the inner door card, loosen the window, power window mechanism, or if you have a manual window, the manual window mechanism, loosen the mechanism so that you can carefully lower this glass down into the door. The problem is, to get the glass out from the car, you're going to have to rotate it about 30-45 degrees. That's how you would get it off the front door, which I've already done, but you can't do that on the back door. There's not enough clearance until you remove this pillar. So what you're going to do first is lower the window, get this pillar loose, remove it, and then this whole thing will be one big opening, and that creates enough clearance for you to rotate the glass and kind of slip it up and out of the door, sort of at that angle towards the back of the car. So let's get going on that. Okay, first thing we're going to do is remove the rear door lock. It just screws right on. So you turn counterclockwise. So I'm going to kind of work that plug out. But now that it's pulled out from the door card, I can unclip the plug, pull this off. We're going to work the trim cover off of the door latch. And then there are some T20 Torx bits. Okay, the 3 Torx are out. I pried. You can kind of get the trim around this if you pull the handle out a little bit while you pry it and move it that way towards the front of the car. So now the rest of the door card will come off if you just kind of pry it. It clips on, so you'll hear some popping. There we go. There we go. So the lower part of the door card pulls down from this upper trim piece, and I had to kind of lift it and jiggle the door card while I was at it. And that pulls it right away. And then this upper trim piece lifts off with a little bit of, again, some courage. Doesn't always sound that good. Oh, there we go. There is, of course, it's a screw and not a Torx, so I'll have to get a screwdriver for that. Don't forget about that one. All right, now that the door card is completely off, both the upper and the main bottom half, what you can see here is this is the window mechanism for the power window on the car, and it's attached to the window. There's like a rail hiding right up under here that's holding the window up, and that rail is connected to this big kind of gear mechanism here by a few arms. And so what we want to do is release the gear mechanism and the arms from the door frame so that the rail, I can manually kind of pull the rail down and lower the window slowly. And when the rail is low enough, the window can then be lifted back up and off of it. So first things first, let's get this mechanism off. It's held on by, I believe, 1, 2, 3. That's for one of the pivots of the arm mechanism. 4 and 5. I believe it's 5. Look like probably 12. Yeah, 12 millimeter. I'll correct it in the video if not. Yeah. 10 millimeter. Okay, let's proceed. Okay, I've removed all those nuts, and it's able to be kind of pushed down now. As I do that, you'll be able to see, there it is. There's the rail that the glass is sitting on, emerging down into the frame of the car. So I'm kind of working the glass downward, and I'm going to go kind of get it down as far as I can go. But once it's down all the way, I can proceed to remove this pillar, and that will allow me to just rotate it right up and out of the door. If this is your first time doing this, which it probably is if you're watching this video, this is, you can see it very well, this is the glass, and you can see it just sitting in that rail. So you can just lift the glass off the rail right now. The problem is there's not enough clearance to to rotate it out the door safely. So I'm trying to work the rail down as far as it'll go. Definitely need both hands to do that, but this is just to kind of highlight what we're trying to do here is finagle the mechanism down. There you go, you can see it moving. But I think this is low enough to give me some clearance to work, and importantly, at this level, what I have achieved is I've separated the window, let's see if it'll focus, this, separated the window's rail from the mechanism's rail, this. Okay, that allows you to see that it's a channel rail, and there's a little wheel from the mechanism that sits inside that, and as the arms move, that wheel moves back and forth in here, allowing it to kind of lift and lower the window. So there's one on the other side of the glass that I think is still in the glass's channel, but it'll just slide right out the other end when I start to rotate and pull the glass up. So let's go ahead and get this pillar out of the way. The upper part is just like a press fit into the door, but it is attached by two Torx, one in here and then one that's accessed actually through here. So you have to pull this rubber plug out and reach down inside. You can sort of see it, and when you undo both those Torx, this whole pillar comes loose. You can separate, there's kind of an upper part and a bottom part. You can separate the two, and this top part, frankly, you just kind of whack it out. It's pressed in. It doesn't screw on anywhere. Okay, so the bottom part is loose, but to get this bottom part out, you really kind of pull down and twist and peel it away. So let's go ahead and finish pulling that off. Ta-da. Now again, this top part is really just press fit in there. This part here will give you some trouble. It, for me, was hung up. But a little bit of finagling, it comes loose. There's that felt inner window seal. So that window is now open, and we can just carefully rotate it up and out of the car. And there you have it. So again, kind of rotate and pull up out of the door, and it's free.